I will.
It's too late for you to tell us you're sorry. You passed that point a long time ago. 'Cause perpetuating lies and deception is the only thing that you seem to know.
Legacy Media, this is for you.
Thought that you'd be safe in your tower, insulated from the people below. But the truth has undermined your foundation by so many people now in the know. You thought that you'd see the day that you could just get away from the ones you betrayed, who raised their voices to say you won't be trusted anymore.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're situated on this great, big, beautiful blue globe floating through the void of Yah's creation. It is Friday, TGIF. It's the 26th of September already. Oh my gosh, 2025. These are the WTF reports. I'm here with the facts. WTF. What were you thinking? Anyway, we are brought to you in part by the Wave Watch, and I know I'm always hawking the Wave Watch, and there's good reason. Because Tesla technology is real. Rife technology is real. Frequency is everything. Yes, it is. And if you haven't done any research on the subject, you really should do so. Because Tesla spelled it all out and Royal Raymond Rife ran with it. He figured out how to use frequencies to make you healthier and to get rid of pathogens and bacteria and viruses and all kinds of bugaboos. Anyway, do some research on Rife machines, Rife technology, and then go to our website, the WTF Reports, and check out the Wave Watch, because it's a Rife machine you wear on your wrist. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I'm not here to say it's going to treat or cure anything, but it's helped me, and people who I've loaned this watch to, it's helped them too. So check it out. Check it out. You got nothing to lose. Anyway, okay, it's Friday, and I got a couple of topics. I will be opening up the phones a little bit later, 215-867-8255, and we will take some calls in just a little bit, but there are a couple things I wanted to get to today. Of course, this whole Charie Kirks assassination thing is exploding. The entire world, not just the country, not just our country, but the whole world is watching this whole thing unfold. And the FBI official story has collapsed. It is not in the process of collapsing. It has collapsed. Nobody is believing the official story. All right? I mean, where's the autopsy report? Where are all the news conferences with the doctors who were at the hospital who received Charie Kirks' body? Where is the autopsy? Where's the coroner's report? Where's the bullet? Oh, they're saying Charlie had bones of steel, the man of steel. Yes, his spine stopped the bullet. Well, then where's the bullet? Okay? He saved the lives of people around him for stopping that bullet. Where's the bullet? Okay, I mean, like I said, the whole story from the FBI is just collapsing. They've been showing us this video of this guy running across the roof, but they don't back it up another 5 seconds so you see where he was running from. We know the camera had a clear shot of the area where they said he took the shot, but they don't back it off and let you see that. I mean, there are lots of people out there that can actually think on their own, and they can see all of the subterfuge and the inconsistencies and the impossibilities of what they're trying to shove down your throat. Now, okay, so let's get conspiratorial for a while. Now, Charlie was assassinated just a little over a week ago, and I've been saying since day one, I'm not going to indulge in all the conspiracy theories. Not yet. First thing we have to show is that the official narrative is horse hockey. And that has pretty much happened. They're still pushing it, though. They're still pushing it. But then again, a lie told often enough becomes the truth, as you already know. So, okay, now let's dabble. Let's just explore. Look beyond, the official narrative and say, okay, well then, what really happened? Okay, well, there are some folks that say, well, there was a shot that came from Charlie's right. Now, when I first saw that, I said, hey, well, maybe there's something to it, because in this little dark area, there's a flash, and then right after that, Charlie gets hit. Okay, so that would kind of make sense, because they're saying that if he got shot from the right, and the analysis here, they're showing video and say, okay, well, it hit Charlie just below the skull and right at the top of the neck, and you could see a little blood splatter come out. And then we saw the hole where unfortunately, he bled out. And they're saying that that's the exit wound. Okay, well, that makes sense, doesn't it? Okay, well, what if, dear campers, that we're not dealing with just one patsy? Because if the official narrative is horse hockey, and they're saying that this kid, Tyler Robinson, did it, but if he's the patsy, what if there's another layer of patsy? What if there is indeed something that happened up in that little dark area? What if indeed there was a flash? And if indeed there was a shot fired up there? Okay? However, now again, let's think outside of the cage. Now they're saying if Charlie was shot and the bullet hit the bottom of his skull, the top of his neck on his right side, and exited on the left side, that means the bullet would have gone right through his neck and out the other side. Okay? Now, you go back and you look at the actual footage. Now we have to ask, why did his chest and his shirt jump up? Why did that happen? How did that happen? Okay, so now we are into a whole different category of questioning the official narrative. All right, now I can't give you the explanation for that. This is for all the other internet sleuths to go through. But I'm asking just some basic questions. Why did his chest, some people were saying he was wearing body armor, but that has since been dispelled, because you could see in earlier shirts and in the video itself that Charlie, one of his nipples was showing through the T-shirt. So if he was wearing body armor, that wouldn't have happened. But the question remains, why did his shirt jump up so violently when the shirt wasn't even hit? I mean, that bullet would have gone, if he did get hit on the right side and the exit wound is on the left there, that would have gone through lickety-split. Okay, that would have been done. So why did the shirt jump up? Now, there's some other people that are speculating that maybe, just maybe, there was an explosive microphone that was, the lavalier, the clip-on microphone. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I'm having a little problem with that. But they're saying that there was this guy in a tan shirt that was situated right in front of Charlie, and he reached over to his shoulder, and some people are saying he hit a detonator or something. And then shortly after that, after Charlie fell, of course there was mayhem. People were scrambling. Well, that guy in that tan shirt sort of came running in there, and it appears that somebody grabbed something off the desk and then handed it off to him. Now, I don't know. We're going to have to piece all this together, but I'm relying on the internet sleuths to continue their investigation, and I know that they will. Now, we don't know exactly what happened. I'm not buying into any of these conspiracy theories, but that, like I said, I've been focusing exclusively on the official narrative. And now, 2 weeks down the road, the official narrative, like I said, it has collapsed. Nobody's believing that. Now, there's something else that happened. And I'm trying to put the puzzle pieces together on this one, because the day that Charlie was shot, and when he was shot on September 10th, I was on the air doing a show. I didn't even know he'd been shot. It was, 20 minutes, 22 minutes past the top of the hour. I was in the middle of doing the show. I didn't find out until after I got off the air. And I was like, oh, my God, that's horrible, blah, 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 blah. Now, I don't remember whether it was that afternoon, or maybe it was the afternoon afterwards, but I was outside, and I was sitting out in my little carport, and where I live, not too far from Kalispell, Montana, where I live, I can see all day planes coming into land. They come over a big mountain outside of Whitefish, Montana. They come and they're flying east, and then they turn, and then they head south, and they head into Kalispell Glacier International Airport. Now, I see this all day long, planes coming into land. It's standard operating procedure. Now, when the wind's going the other way, they're taking off. And when they take off from Glacier International, they're gaining altitude, and they fly almost directly over where I live. Okay, so when they're in a landing pattern, I can see them to the north. They're coming across, flying to the east, and then they bank and head to the south and land. Now, when they're taking off, they're gaining altitude, and they make their bank and turn, and they go almost overhead. I see this every day, all day. That's normal. However, this is kind of weird. Now, I don't remember whether this was September 10th. I think it was. It was right around that. I didn't even think about it at the time. But something has prodded my memory to go back and remember it. Dave, do you remember what you saw that day? And I say, oh, gosh, I remember. There was a plane that was flying very low, and it was a jet. It was, I don't know, maybe a 12-passenger. I mean, it wasn't a small personal jet, and it wasn't a huge airliner. It was like, I don't know, maybe a 12 or 24-passenger, I don't know, twin engine on the side aircraft, and it looked like it had a whole bunch of antennas on it. I'd never seen a plane like that, but what really caught my attention that day is that it was flying so low and so slowly, and it was flying from east to west, and I'd have to honestly say it was probably only a mile or two from where I was sitting. And I said, what is this plane? I've never seen a jet that big flying so low in this area. I mean, it was slow. It was just flying. And I said, well, what the heck is that? I'd never seen it. It was almost like that plane was going to try to land in Whitefish Lake. And we do get those occasionally. You know, the private airplanes with the pontoons, they come and they land on the lake and they bring the tourists into the lodge. But, of course, this plane wasn't going to land. But, boy, it was flying low enough that it could have. But the bottom line here is that I saw this jet, and I said, well, isn't that interesting? And it didn't really register in my mind. However, a couple of days ago, there are some folks that have been posting about this jet that took off after Charlie was assassinated. And I've seen pictures of this. And it looked just like the plane that flew over in my area. I'm in the Kalispell area. Well, what do you know? I looked online, and they were saying that, well, there's this plane that it was sort of like going between Utah, El Paso, Texas, and Kalispell, Montana. I said, what? And I went and I looked, and they said, okay, well, here's the flight pattern. And I'm looking right at it right now. There was a flight that left Kalispell, Montana at 17:27 UTC. And I'm looking, where's the date on this? I don't see where the date is. But they're calling these planes. Apparently there's a couple of these planes, and they are linked to the CIA intelligence. And that would explain the antennas that I saw on the plane that flew over. I said, wait a second, did I see the plane that they're talking about? I don't know the answer to this. I'm just throwing it out there, saying, look, I can't even say for sure it was at the right time. Because like I said, when I saw it, I didn't connect the two. I had no clue. It wasn't until, like I said, a couple days ago, they pointed out that there's this plane. So anyway, I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but I don't know. This is very interesting times. So, like I said, I'm going to rely on all the internet sleuths that are out there, and there are some really good analyses coming out. I got to hand it to Ian Carroll. Ian Carroll is a choice researcher. He's right up he's top shelf. So keep your eye on Ian Carroll, and there's a couple others out there. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you because I'm still scratching my head on this, and I know that the powers that be do not want the real truth to come out there. They're doing everything they can to throw more breadcrumbs and rabbit trails down so you don't ask all the right questions. And unfortunately, so many Americans have lost the skill of critical thinking that they have lost the ability to think outside the cage. So it's going to be up to the rest of us to try to put these puzzle pieces together. And we will not stop. I mean, stop and think about this for a second. What if What if all of the supporters of Charlie Kirk and TPUSA all of a sudden get it? What if all of a sudden the real truth comes out and we find out who the real perpetrators were? And, of course, Bibi Netanyahu's out there immediately saying, Israel didn't do it, Israel didn't do it. Well, nobody's really accused Israel yet, so why are you knee-jerking, So anyway, and I've asked a question before. If you want to solve a crime, you need to find out the means, the motive, the means, and the opportunity. Okay? So who benefits? Que bono. Who benefits from the assassination of Charlie Kirk? Well, obviously the conservatives didn't benefit. And the liberals out there, they know that there would be blowback, and there is blowback going on right now because the narrative is saying that this guy, has a boyfriend/girlfriend who's in the process of transitioning, and that he was into furries, if you know what I mean. Anyway, there's just a lot of horse hockey being thrown out there. So if we can sort through all the bullcrap, maybe we'll get to what's really going on. But every time we ask a logical question, hey, where's the autopsy? Where's the bullet? Where's the doctor who's going to give the official statement? How come there are no press conferences? That's not consistent with reality. Anyway, I just wanted to throw those out there. So, so maybe I did witness this Hades aircraft. And, oh, by the way, that's what they call them, Hades. Go figure. Wouldn't have anything to do with Satanism, would it? No. Anyway, so, and like I said, is there a possibility that we have two layers of patsies out there? The Tyler Robinson patsy, and then maybe the shooter who's over on the right, maybe he's a patsy too? And maybe the real culprit was some explosive in his lavalier microphone? I don't know. But the real question that I have right now is that if he was hit in the back of the neck or the bottom of the skull, top of the neck, and the bullet exited through the front of the neck, why did his chest and his shirt jump up like that? That doesn't make sense to me. But then again, maybe there's a logical explanation that I haven't been exposed to yet. But I will continue to ask the questions, and I encourage you, dear listeners, to do the same. Anyway, okay, so let me see. We got, 23 minutes past the hour. I have an audio clip here from a gentleman who is going through the waking up process. Now, I will tell you that for you regular listeners out here, I'm assuming that, yes, you have all been awakened, and you're all, very familiar with the rabbit hole. But there are millions and millions of Americans who have been living in their bubble, who are having their bubbles popped, and it's not easy for them to find out that everything that you've ever been told is a lie, and everyone that you've ever trusted was betraying you. And that's tough. This guy was choking back tears. I'm going to share you with because a lot of Americans are going through this scenario right now.
I've been trying to find the right word of how I feel about what's going on. The revelation of all this stuff that's going on as far as the money that's being exposed that has been sent and how they have abused the system and the corruption and everything like that. And the best word I can come up with as a 67-year-old United States citizen born in St. Joseph's Hospital of Orange, California, 1957. Long time ago. And my dad fought in that Second World War, and my grandfather fought in the First World War, and my brother was in the service during Nam. He didn't go to Nam. I have a nephew that's in the Army right now. The betrayal that I feel toward that's the word. It's betrayal. It's betrayal. That's the word that I'm feeling. I'm feeling like the country that I grew up in and that I supported with a waving of a flag and a singing of a song and with all this emotion and all this grit has betrayed me, but not just me. Every single person who's ever been born in this country. We've all been betrayed, and yet watch the people who want to keep the betrayal going. That is what tears me up and makes me more angry, is that you've used me You used my grandfather, my dad, since we got here in 1638. My family's been here a long time. And every single conflict that we've been in, my family is part of it. Either as an officer or an infantry guy or a chaplain or somebody, we got a book that's really thick that expresses our history. Every one of those people are betrayed. Today, we're all betrayed by this corrupt government that is now being exposed, but by God, and I'm not cursing, I'm just saying by God, may the betrayal be vindicated. That's all I'm saying. May the betrayal be vindicated.
Mm-hmm. And again, my heart goes out to this gentleman and all the other people who are going through this exact same process of finding out that you've been lied to. And again, I refer to all the supporters of TPUSA and all the people who loved Charie Kirk. I'm going to ask you the same question. How are you going to feel when you find out that you've been betrayed? And all the conservatives out there who support Kash Patel and Pam Bondi and the Trump administration, how are you going to feel if it turns out that they have betrayed you as well? Because there are a lot of questions coming up now about Kash Patel. A lot of very, very serious questions about Kash Patel. As a matter of fact, there is a lawsuit that was filed last April. Let me see if I still have it pumped up here. Let's see here. Yes, here it is. Okay. This was posted by Timothy Charles Holmseth. And there are a lot of sensational stories out there. There's a lot of misinformation out there. But what's interesting is that this article here brings up some very, very serious charges, and it comes with a receipt. It takes you to a PDF of the actual lawsuit that is in question. I mentioned this the other day, and I'll mention it again. If you go, let me see, the website is timothycharlesholmseth.com, and it's the World War Report breaking. Okay, the headline says, World War Report. Breaking now, Trump cabinet member accused of filmed child gang rape. That's what it says. Oh, can I say that R word, or do I have to say grape in this land of free speech? Anyway, it says here, Trump cabinet member named by child victim in gang rape and cannibalism case. Evidence shows a very high-level member of President Donald Trump's cabinet is named as a perpetrator in a horrific crime against humanity, case unfolding in Casper, Wyoming. And let me see, in October 2025, coming up in just a few weeks, excuse me, a judge in Natrona County in Casper, Wyoming, is going to hear a child custody case which is actually a cannibalism case that involves a small child, son of a federal employee. The federal employee is named Jacob Newmiller. Now, I'm going to scroll down to the bottom of this, and it says here, see link below for more information. And it says Newmiller case facts and information. I click on that, and a PDF opens up, and it's stamped April 8th, 2025. Okay, that's going back several months. And United States Federal Court Division in Tampa, the offense area details, it says Kash Patel, State of Wyoming FBI, Tennessee FBI, Alabama FBI. Plaintiff is Jessie Marie Sesbatar. And you see the case number here for those of you who have the ability to look these up. It's case number 824CV2988, and then parentheses SDM-LSG. Okay, so you can look that up. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you because I think that we're going to find out that people who we have come to trust were certainly not worthy of it. Anyway, yeah, a lot of fecal matter is going to be hitting the air circulator sometime soon, folks. So get out your wellies, your raincoat, and your umbrella. It's going to be a bumpy ride, that's for sure. Anyway, okay, it's bottom of the hour, and I have a couple things that I want to share with you. Then I'll open up the phone lines. I'll be right back.
Get More Tank will save you money every month on gas. Get More Tank is a tablet with active ingredients that adds big mileage to every tank. Made in America, the Get More Tank formula is used by trucking companies and heavy industry. Now the Get More Tank formula is available to you. Get More Tank works in any gas or diesel engine, cleans your engine, lowers emissions, and you'll feel improved engine performance every time you step on the gas. Get More Tank works for cars, trucks, boats, motorcycles, four-wheelers, mowers, and blowers. Hey, if you got an engine, then Get More Tank. Contractors, electricians, plumbers, painters, and lawn service companies, Get More Tank will save you money and extend the life of your engines. If you're an owner-operator running your big rig around the town or across the country, Get More Tank will save you money too. If you're a farmer, all of your equipment can use Get More Tank. A 5-pack on sale at GetMoreTank.com for just $22.22 plus shipping. Use the promo code REDPILL101 and get 10% off. Save your money, save your engine, save the earth at GetMoreTank.com. Get More Tank is EPA registered, doesn't void warranties, results vary.
Yep, save your money, save the earth, and save your car. Get More Tank will do all of the above, which is why I am a very supportive sponsor of this product. Get More Tank is it's going to improve the performance of your vehicle. It's going to basically give you more mileage, and it's going to save you money. So this is a win-win-win situation. If you haven't tried it out, hey, come on, guys. I could use your support here just a little bit. Check this stuff out. It's only going to cost you $20, $20 whole dollars. And all of a sudden, after using this product, you're going to find your car runs better, it runs cleaner, and you're going to see improved gas mileage, anywhere between 15 and 20% better mileage, depending upon your year, make, and model of your vehicle and your driving habits. So if you're getting a 20% improvement in your gas mileage, that means that one purchase gives you 5 tablets. That means your 5th tank is free. This is a no-brainer, folks. I don't know why you're hesitating. So, hey, go to our website, TheWTFReports.com, click on the sponsors page, and then there's a window there for Get More Tank. And if you use the promo code REDPILL101, you're going to save 10%. So that means it's going to cost you $20 whole dollars. Oh, man, $20, save a tank of gas. Try it out, folks. You won't be sorry. Okay, let's see. It's 33 minutes past the hour, and I will open up the phone lines here. A couple of audio clips that I want to share with you. First of all, let's go back to 1992 and listen to one of the greatest broadcasters in our time, Paul Harvey. Listen to what he had to say.
Goes by, but what some researcher tries to scare us or trick us out of research money by claiming that the sky is falling. And with the willing complicity of headline-hungry media, a recent crisis of the month had to do with global warming. An ozone hole is opening up over the United States, we were told, the effects of which were already measurable in an increase in skin cancer. On the contrary, destroying chlorine around the polar vortex has been declining since January. A major objective of a recent shuttle mission was to determine the scope and scale of the so-called ozone hole, and the silence since has been deafening from those whose livelihood depends on creating crises. Recent data from the Upper Atmosphere Research Satellites affirms that any problem is less, it's not greater. Ozone levels fluctuate all of the time, partly because of volcanic activity and solar flares. But MIT's Technology Review has made an exhaustive study of worldwide ocean temperatures since 1851, has concluded that there appears to have been little or no global warming over the past century. In fact, the net rise in world surface temperature during the last century, which was about 1%, almost all occurred before 1940, and that was before aerosols, and that has since been reversed. Former NASA chief Robert Jastrow and former Scripps director William Nierenberg, past president of the American Academy of Sciences, Frederick Seitz, all have concluded in a scathing rebuke of those who make money by predicting global warming, quote, if we allow ourselves to be influenced by press release, we could spend $1 trillion over the next decade destroying what's left of the American
economy. Yeah. Okay. Well, that was 33 flaming years ago, folks. He said the next decade. Well, look how far down the road we are now. And they're scaring the bejesus out of everybody on the planet, screaming global warming, climate change, and we have to watch our carbon footprint. Wait a second. I learned in grade school that trees breathe carbon dioxide, okay? And they let off oxygen as a result. So the trees will clean up the carbon. That's what trees do. That's why the Amazon rainforest is so precious. And what are they doing? They're doing the exact opposite. Bill Gates wants to cut down all the trees. This is insanity. They're doing the exact opposite. I mean, they claim that there's global warming and too much carbon, so what are you going to do? You cut down the trees that are taking out the carbon. That's insanity. But that's what they're doing. And most Americans are just following along, and they're just doing what the media tells them to do. It's insanity. Think outside of the box, folks. And so what's their solution? They want to chip you. They want to have CBDCs, and you want to have a carbon footprint. And I did a song about this chipping stuff that's been going on, because that's what the global ID is going to be about. They wanted to have, they tried to push that 20 years ago on a universal ID, but everybody saw through it, because that universal digital ID was going to have all your private information, your bank account, your health records, all this other stuff. Hey, what about my privacy?
Got some real problems that I know we must get solved, and I want to be part of the team. I want to get involved. The federal officials say they want to chip my herd, but that won't solve the problem, and I think that it's absurd. They want to chip my chickens, goats, and chip my horses too. They say they want to stop disease, and that's what they must do. The price for all this chipping done, my state will have to pay. And that means they'll raise my taxes, and I don't get to have a say. What about my privacy? What about my right to life and liberty? If I decide to ride my horse and leave my property, well, I'll face $1,000 fine, and they'll come after me. They say it's voluntary, but in just a few years' time, it will be mandatory, and non-compliance will be crime. What about my sovereignty? Why won't you leave us alone? Just let us be, 'cause I take care of my animals, and I feed them real food, and I know that they are healthy, and so I must now conclude that there's another plan. So to control the food supply, yes, it's harder to accept the truth. They'd rather sell the lie. What about my sovereignty? What about my right to life and liberty? If you think chipping animals is what we have to do, well, then we're not very far from chipping me and chipping you. If you just still don't get it, and if you think there's no harm, well, then think of Nazis putting tattooed numbers on your arm. What about my sovereignty? What about my right to life and liberty?
Yeah. Let's get in line. Get your chip. And that's what they're going to be pushing. I told you so. I told you so 20, 25 years ago. But you know what? There's no joy in I told you so for either party.
Half a century ago, a Nazi bid for world control, identifying every Jew by numbers that they would tattoo. Today we have technology, and we've convinced them all to be submissive to their leadership, and all receive a biochip.
Yeah, all receive a biochip. They're going to convince America and the rest of the world that that's the solution. That's how we stop global warming. Get in line.
Are we freer in America today than we were a couple years ago?
Yeah, remember 5 years ago? Yeah.
Are we freer in America today than we were just 40 years ago?
40 years ago, a lot has changed.
Are we freer in America today than we were 200 years ago?
Yeah, and the hawker is gonna get you.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Everybody, everywhere, sit back, relax, and get ready for the glorious dawning of a new world order. There's nothing that you have to do. We have everything under control. Just watch your TV, and we'll tell you what you need to know. There's not much, I promise. Pretty soon you'll have your very own biochip. Imagine, no more tax forms, no more medical records, no more bank books or paychecks, no more cares or worries. We've done it all just for you. With years of testing and research, we finally have all the answers, and we know what's best for all mankind. Simply follow directions given to you by your friendly local officials. They can guide you through the transition stage.
Where's the hook and the trap door for this guy?
The basic introduction.
There he goes. Right down he goes. Yeah, folks, we're going to have to resist, and it ain't going to be easy. I would suggest that, yes, you stock up on a few weeks of cash and some food and whatever else you need to have some communications. If you want to have a two-way radio, a CB radio, a ham radio, we're going to have to get through some difficult times, and you've got to resist. That's the only solution. We have no choice. And I will tell you, I will never allow them to put another needle or chip in my body. No, it ain't going to happen. Not going to happen. Because that's where we are, folks. And the powers that be, they are absolutely desperate. The global plans are being exposed, and more people are starting to realize, and it's very painful. Like I said, I played that clip a little while ago of that poor guy whose bubble got popped. And there are millions and millions and millions of Americans who've had their head firmly in the sand. And as they say, when you got your head stuck in the sand, your butt's exposed. Well, a lot of these people are going to get a serious kick in the butt in the wake-up call, and it isn't going to be easy for them to find out that they have been lied to by the people they trusted the most. And that's going to be a very difficult process for many to go through. And, yours truly, I started going down the rabbit hole. Oh, gosh, back in, I started in, 89, 90, right around in that period of time. So for me, it's been 35 years, but there are a lot of people that have only just started to embark down the rabbit hole. And when you start going, taking a look at the puzzle pieces, and every one of these issues that we see, they're all puzzle pieces. And when you examine one puzzle piece, you can't see the big picture. You look at two puzzle pieces, you still can't see the big picture. It takes time. You have to look at and examine each puzzle piece carefully. Here's the Oklahoma City bombing puzzle piece, and here's the 9/11 puzzle piece, and here's the war in Syria puzzle piece, and here's the USS Liberty puzzle piece. You got to keep looking at these puzzle pieces until you can get the big picture. And then for a lot of people, when they see the big picture, they go, oh my God. And a chill comes over them. And the hairs on the back of their neck stand up, and they realize, oh my God, I've been lied to. Anyway, we got a caller on the line here. Let's see. Caller, please listen to your phone. Do not listen to your device. Welcome to the program. Who are you and where are you calling from?
Yeah, okay. It's Ray from Columbus, Ohio.
Ray,
And
welcome to the show.
Thank you. I listen every day, and sometimes I listen twice. Yeah, in the Eastern board, you come on at 2 o'clock.
Right.
But the day before's program comes on at 7. So I want to tell the people on the East Coast that 7, 2, and 7, you can get this program. Okay?
Okay.
I wanted to give a couple puzzle pieces, and that is, I heard that at the rally, I heard first of all that his wife's father has a Israeli connection.
Who are you talking about?
What it was? I'm talking about Erica Kirk's father.
Oh, okay, Erica Kirk.
And,
yeah.
Yeah, and they got divorced early on her life, but he was at Raytheon.
Right.
And he formed a Israeli unit at Raytheon.
Yes.
And was chairman of the division or the district, whatever they call it, for several years, and apparently supplied material for the Iron Dome. So that's a puzzle piece.
Yes,
but
it is. Good for you. Good for you. I hadn't brought that up yet, but yeah, I'm aware of all of this stuff.
Yeah, I heard it first of all from Judge Napolitano, but I checked it up on the internet and I found several references to that. And then the other one was I heard in passing that there was an Israeli security group at the rally that Kirk or some other people were worried, so they added security. Well, I went on the internet and they gave me BS and directed me this way and that way. And so finally, in a chat, I said, I want a straight answer. And then they told me, they said, yes, there was an Israeli security group at the rally. They were there.
That's a red flag.
I don't know. Yeah, another red flag, yeah. Now, I have a different subject which I need your help on, which has got to do with the Wave Watch. I got one. I like it. I set it up. It's operating, but I don't know how to use it. I looked at the manual, and they don't tell me, and I called the numbers I found on the Internet, and they never answered me.
Oh, really?
The simple question I have is, when I put it on, do I leave it on all day and night? Do I put it on for 2 hours? I mean, I don't know how to do the therapy treatment.
Okay. Well, I've found that the battery on this thing is marvelous. I mean, this thing will go all day and probably into the night. So I don't wear it all day. First off, when you push the button and turn it on, and then you touch the screen, it's going to you can scroll and pick out the different category, okay? And for instance, you scroll down until you see organs, for example. And then when you touch the screen, it gives you a menu. And at the bottom, you can go to the right or the left, or you can scroll up and down. And I've been recently, I started running a program on ear function, okay? Because I'm getting on in years. I've been a musician. I've been exposed to loud music. And there are times in a crowded room that I have a hard time hearing the conversation. So anyway, so you scroll down until you see ear function, and you touch that. And then it's got to either play or pause, either the arrow or the pause sign. You just make sure that that's in play mode. And then you swiped from left to right to set the volume, and you're good to go. So it's not too hard.
I've done all that, and that works fine. I like the beauty of it. I like the way it wears and everything. For a particular treatment that I'm applying, I don't know whether to wear it for 2 hours because the slider, has a time element on there, and it goes for a certain period of time, and then it recycles.
Correct.
And goes again and recycles.
Yeah.
But I don't know how long you're supposed to take the treatment. You just do it a couple hours a day for something, or?
Well, like I said.
And I can't get any answer. I went through the manual, and I can't find it there either.
Okay. Well, personally, I let it run all day. If it recycles, fine. Okay. I let it run all day, and then in the evening, I'll take it off and put it on the little charger so it'll charge overnight. So, but
Okay,
I could be wearing it all night too. I could change the program and do eye function, or I recently cut myself. I got a pretty good little cut on my index finger here. So anyway, so I was running a program for skin, and it was healing, and that's closed up. It was 2 days ago, and now this thing is pretty much closed up and healed, and that's good because now I can play guitar again. I couldn't play for a couple days. Oh no! So no, it's healing up pretty good. But just experiment with it. It's not too hard. I realize that it is a little. They don't have a whole lot of descriptions on the instructions there. They should have put together a little bit more detailed manual. But you can go online, go to YouTube, and search Wave Watch, and there's a ton of videos there.
Now let me interrupt you. I went to Wave Watch 3 or 4 times. I got a guy who answered and said, leave a message, and he never called me back, and that's why I'm calling you.
Oh, okay. Well, the way I understand it...
We're not getting a response.
Well, Linda Bamber and her son John and her other son, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, it's just the 3 of them. And they are just so busy. They're busier than one-arm paper hangers trying to juggle chainsaws standing up in a hammock with roller skates on. I mean, they're just so cut them a little slack for not getting back to you because they are they're traveling all over the country and it's hard to get to all the calls. But I'll reach out to John Bamber and see if they can't put together a little bit more detailed instruction manual that they could post online for folks just like you and me. Who, I'm an analog guy in a digital world, and trying to get used to some of this new technology, it's tough for me. So, and I'm sure it's tough for you too.
Yeah. Well, I had no trouble with it. It worked out really well. I got the timer set up. I have the 2.0, and I have the digital and everything's great about it, and it's very easy to work and set up. Mm-hmm. But you gave me the answer, so I'm going to do what you do. Wear it take it off at night. Okay.
Yeah, and if you want to wear it, and they've got sleep programs on there too. As a matter of fact, that was the first thing I did when I got my Wave Watch because I wanted to get a good night's sleep. When you get on in years, you don't have a good 8 hours of sleep anymore. You're lucky if you can get 5 or 6 hours. So anyway, the first night that I got it, I ran a sleep program, and I slept for 7.5 hours. I said, "Oh, this is great! I love this." So that was the first really big selling point for me.
Well, okay, that's what I'll do. Thanks for your help and thanks for your program. Great program.
Well, thank you for your listenership. And, hey, call in more often. I knew you were out there. I haven't talked to you for, several months. But, give me a ring. I love group participation. Yeah, we're all in this together. All right, Jerry. Hey, thank you. Thank you so much for the call. All right. Welcome. God bless. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Same to you.
All righty. Oh, yeah. Isn't that nice? Yeah. So, folks, well, you're hearing it right from, horse's mouth. He's happy with this thing. You can be, too. Check out the Wave Watch. This thing is great. So go to our website, TheWTFReports.com. There'll be a pop-up right there. Take you right to the information about the Wave Watch. And like I said, do your own research. Don't believe me. Don't believe anybody. Do your own research. Check out Rife Technology, and you'll start to get it as to why Rife Technology is something that needs to be paid attention to. So, anyway, okay, let's see. There was something else I was going to get to, and I can't remember exactly what it was off the top of my head. Like I said, the narrative about the Kirk assassination is falling apart, and a lot of people now are starting to look in the direction of Israel. And well, they should. And again, we know that Charie Kirk was a very strong supporter of Israel for the longest time, which is why he had so many donors, Israeli donors, Jewish donors, that were funding TPUSA. However, in the past several months, and I played the audio clips here on the show, and I don't have time to pull them all up, although I could, but Charlie was seriously questioning the integrity of Bibi Netanyahu and the Israeli regime. Now, this is not to go after Jews. This is not to go, because a lot of Jewish Israelis are appalled and disgusted with what Bibi Netanyahu, or shall I say Bibi Milakowski, has been doing. And there are Jews all over this country now that are unfortunately facing the ire of all of these people who don't understand the difference between Judaism and Zionism. There are real Jews who are disgusted with Netanyahu. And they're the real Jews. They're the Old Testament Jews. However, there is a large group of Talmudic Jews that have nothing whatsoever to do with the Middle East. They are from Eastern Europe, Central Asia, and North America. And if you do some research into the Khazars, you'll find out that there was a group of very ruthless people thousands of years ago that made the Mongolians look like a bunch of choir boys. And in the area, there were conflicts going on between the Christians and the Muslims. And they didn't want to get involved with that, so they took up the Star of David and decided that they were going to take up Judaism. They are the imposters. They are the imposters. Those are the ones that Jesus was referring to in Revelation 2:9 and 3:9. They are the imposters. And they're the ones who have created all the usury and the central banks, the Rothschilds. Okay, yeah, they're direct lines from the Khazars, from the Ashkenazis. Do the research, folks. And a lot of people will start to understand that the Old Testament Jews are not the ones to be blamed on this. And like I said, there are a lot of the innocent people who are going to be taking the hit over what Netanyahu and the Talmudic Ashkenazi, Khazarian mafia, that's what they are. That's what they've been doing all this time. So anyway, please do your own research. Get some background. And I know it's difficult. A lot of people just don't want to do it. And because, you don't look for what you don't want to find. And again, there's that bubble. The bubble will be popped sooner or later. Either you pop it yourself and have a controlled deflation, or you have somebody else pop it for you, and that's when the devastation comes in. So, this is why I implore everybody, do some research, think outside of the cage, get yourself some background, and understand that history is written by those who hang the heroes. And it's common sense, if we've all been raised and weaned on a steady diet of misinformation, disinformation, and lies, then we shouldn't be so surprised that when the truth comes along, it's going to taste funny. And some people will reject it altogether because they don't have a palate for it. And that's why it's so hard for people to accept the truth in many times. And then, of course, there's the ego and pride factor. Pride is a huge obstacle from people being able to understand what's really going on in this world. So, and like I said, and as far as trying to wake people up is concerned, it's late in the game, folks. I don't know if we can wake anybody up. When you introduce somebody to a bucket full of truth, it's sort of like you can't do it all at once. When you're going to introduce a baby to solid foods, you don't sit the baby down in front of a plate of nachos with jalapenos and shove a bunch in his mouth, because he's going to reject it. You're going to be on the wrong end of projectile vomiting, and chances are the baby will never try it again. So that's why you have to take a little bit at a time, a little baby, a little bit, take a little taste of this. And whoa, that's different. Yeah, I know. Try some more. Oh, I kind of like that. Yeah, that's how it's got to go. You can't just shove it all in their face at one time, because that's when they say, you're crazy, you're a conspiracy theorist, you're a wacko, you're a homophobe, Islamophobe, you're a Nazi, you're an anti-Semite, blah, blah, blah. That's what happens. That's the reaction that you're going to get when you try to shove too much throat in their truth, too much truth down their throat. Sorry, I got my Merdswicks there. All right. Oh, gosh. Are we having fun yet? I know that I am. All right, well, gosh, I look at the clock here, and it's that magic time, folks. Here comes the music. All right, well, that's going to bring to a close another week of insanity here, broadcasting from the WTF Reports. I hope you're enjoying the broadcast. I really do. And if you're listening on Rumble or BitChute or YouTube or Facebook, please click like, share, and subscribe. And even more importanter, Tell your friends. Word of mouth is the best form of advertising. Say, hey, look if you want to get some information that's that's pretty darn good, you got to check in the WTF reports. So anyway, that said, I hope you guys have a good, safe weekend. There's so much, who knows what's going to happen over this weekend. Anyway, that said, I'm done. TGIF. Thank you all for your listenership. God bless you all. Stay safe. Stay free. And above all, well, I'll see you tomorrow. God bless you all.
Now